So for the last 5 weeks, I've been traveling around Milan, Lake Como, Tuscany, Champagne, Paris, a little bit of the UK, and I'm now here in the Faroe Islands. So I thought I'd show you some of the gear that I've taken with me on this trip, which has predominantly been focused on shooting landscape style photography. So my main camera that I've been shooting with is the A7R3. It's a fairly old camera now, but shooting at 42 megapixels, it's definitely what I want if I need to crop in on a photo or I want to really blow it up and make some prints out of it later on. One of the main lenses I've been using is the Sony GM 16-35 with a 2.8. This has been pretty much a go-to for maybe 50% of the landscape shots. Accompanying that has also been another Sony GM 70-200 2.8. Again, this has been an awesome lens to really hone in on some landscape shots, but also just gives you some flexibility when you're walking around to crank in from 70 to 200. So it's a little bit of a heavy lens, but definitely something I've been pulling out my bag at least once a day. I've also got the Sigma 24-70 2.8. This lens hasn't seen a huge amount of action, but it has been worthwhile taking. It just gives that distance between the 24 and the 70, which is sometimes handy if you're walking through the streets or doing more run and gun style photography or videography. I also carry a second camera with me. This one's predominantly more designed for video work. This is a Sony A7 IV. This has been a good backup camera because I was a little bit worried about my main camera getting dropped or damaged and I'd have nothing with me on the trip. So it's been a good backup camera, but it's also handy for videos. And like every photographer on this trip, they've almost all got the Dji Air 2 or 3 or whatever the case may be. But so I've got the Air 2S with 3 batteries. My tripod is the Manfrotto BeFree 2 Advanced. Look, it's okay, but there's definitely some major limitations with it. The main benefit of this tripod is that it collapses up small and can fit in my carry-on luggage, but I'm not sure I'd be taking it on too many more trips. It's not quite big enough and strong enough for what I need. And accompanying the lenses is also the filters. So I've got the variable filter set up here. This one can go on different size rings depending on what you've got. It's a little bit of a gimmick, but it saves carrying around the whole filter kit, and it's about a quarter of the price. Of course, I've always got some chocolate for when the mood's getting down or I've got a long time in a location waiting for the sun to change. I can have some chocolate, and of course the Insta360 X3, which is an absolute awesome camera at its price point and has been an absolute workhorse for capturing this vlog, allowing me to record myself talking to the camera, but also set up some time lapses. And then all that fits inside my Tenba Backpack, which is absolutely awesome. I've had this for years and it has enough space to carry all the gear that I need.